This time on the Unknowledgeables,
we're watching curling.
Which, as usual, we know nothing about.
Shuttle 2, do you have forward thrusters?
Peterson, I don't know.
Hello and welcome to the Unknowledgeables. My name is Kit.
And I'm Inti.
And today we're watching the 2018 Ford World Women's Curling Championship gold medal game. Exciting!
Is it exciting?
It's curling. How can you not be excited for curling?
I mean, to me, it's as exciting as bowls, which is famously boring.
Bowls is famously utterly tedious, but I feel that curling is got a coolness about it because bowls happens like with old men on a lawn, whereas curling happens with cool young people in the Olympics.
The famous comparison is it's the same as bowls and shuffleboard, whatever those two old people games are.
I have never heard of shuffleboard. That sounds amazing.
Shuffleboard is exactly like bowls, but it's on like a wooden floor, and you might see pictures of people in the 80s, like really old people in the 80s, rolling not a ball like in bowls, but some kind of puck which has some wheels at the bottom, and you sort of roll that. It's got like a handle, and you roll.
Oh, so it's like a Roomba. They're rolling a little Roomba along the floor.
And why is bowls in the Olympics and shuffleboard?
It is in the Olympics, and it was one team who competed in 1950, and it's that same team who's been competing ever since. This is what I know of curling already. It's on ice, and you bowl, like a puck-like thing along the floor, and it slides along, and you're trying to get it within a circle that's drawn on the ice at the other end. But the opponents are taking turns alternating with you, and like you're trying to hit each other's puck outside of the circle. I know that they do this sweeping thing. The other people on the team are like furiously scrubbing in front of it. And I have is that they're trying to, like the ice is really rough and they're trying to buff the ice to make it smooth?
I don't know. It almost doesn't feel like a sport to me. The same way snooker doesn't really feel like a sport to me. You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like there's a score that is available to be reached, but there isn't anything higher than getting it right in the middle.
I like the competitive element. I like that you're fighting against someone and they might knock yours out. And like you probably both have a certain... Like you both have 3 pucks at your disposal. So if you get yours perfectly in the middle right at the beginning, well then they're just going to knock it straight out. So then there's some element of tactical play there.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess if you've got 3 goes, maybe you want to make a little barricade for the first 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so that sounds like, okay, there is some strategy here, some tactics.
Yeah. But maybe not quite as much as a game of chess.
Spirit is willing, but the unknowledge is weak.
Now on to the part of the podcast where we go to the Wikipedia page.
It is related to bowls, booze, and shuffleboard. Well done, Inti.
Ding!
2 teams, each with 4 players, take turns sliding heavy polished granite stones, also called rocks, across the curling sheet towards the house, a circular target marked on the ice. Inti, a great deal of strategy and teamwork go into choosing the ideal path and placement for a stone. This gives curling its nickname of chess on ice. Ding! So the purpose of the game is to score points by getting the stones closer to the centre of the house. That's the target. By getting those stones closer than the other team's stones. Players from either team alternate in taking shots from the far side of the sheet. An end is complete when all 8 rocks from each team have been delivered, a total of 16 stones.
So I'm going to have a look very quickly at the scoring. What was your guess again?
My guess is 3 points for the middle and 1 point for the outside.
Well, I'm afraid it's a baseball-style scoreboard.
Okay, I'm trying to find something we can quiz each other on. What is the skip?
Is that the process of hitting somebody else's stone away?
Oh, that's a really good guess. It is not that. The skip is a person.
Does it define it any more than that?
No.
They're just all called skips. Hi, I'm a skip.
The skip is a person. That includes the people in the audience. No. So the skip is a person. So which person do you think is the skip?
Oh, the thrower?
The skip is the captain. And the captain will usually determine the required weight, turn, and line of the stone. And these will be influenced by the tactics at this point of the game, which may involve taking out, blocking, or tapping another stone. Truly, it is chess on ice. So, what do you think the weight of the stone is?
In stone?
The weight of the stone is its velocity. So wait a minute, they use the word weight to mean the velocity of the stone. What do you think the turn of the stone is? Before you throw a stone, you need to think, what kind of turn are we going to give this stone?
So I guess they take turns, so one side take their turn and the other side take their turn?
The turn of the stone is the amount of spin that you give it.
The turn of the stone sounds like a Harry Potter book.
Harry Potter and the Turn of the Stone.
Which was written in Scotland mostly. Harry Potter and the Turn of the Stone!
By J.K. Bowling.
By J.K. Shuffleboard.
More so than in many other team sports, good sportsmanship, often referred to as the spirit of curling, is an integral part of curling. Wow, the spirit of curling leads teams to congratulate their opponents for making a good shot, strong sweeping, spectacular form. Most importantly, you never cheer mistakes by the other team.
What?
The thrower throws from the hack.
Is that a part of their hand?
I think the hack is a part of the ice sheet that they're all standing on, the pitch. Another player, usually the skip, is stationed behind the button to determine the weight, turn and line. So the button is the centre circle of the house, which is the target that they're aiming for. The stone is released as the thrower approaches the hog line.
Okay, so many different types of shots are used to carefully place stones for strategic or tactical reasons. They fall into three fundamental categories.
Ooh.
So guards.
I think a guard is when you bowl the stone, is when you curl the stone from the hack past the hog line into the house towards the button, and you're trying to place it so that it blocks other people. So imagine that I curl my stone so that it lands just at the edge of the house that's nearest us. So it isn't getting loads of points because it's not in the bullseye of the house, which is called the button, but it is on the edge nearest us. But that means when the opposing team plays, if they hit my stone, they're just going to hit it into a higher scoring position because they're going to hit it further into the house.
Well, you're kind of right, but yeah, you don't throw it into the house at all. You just throw it in front of the house.
Right, cool.
Which makes sense, like if you want to guard your actual house.
Put a big stone in front of it.
Okay, the next one is draws.
It is to draw your opponent out of the house. So like to lure them out of the house, like to tempt them into hitting your stone so that they don't get in the house. Is it like a bait, like a decoy somehow?
No, they are thrown only to reach the house.
Oh, okay. So those ones you're just trying to score. Okay.
And then the last one is called takeout.
Oh, yeah, that's when you smash your opponent's stone out of the house.
So for the people at home, we're going to be watching Canada versus Sweden. Can you do a good Canadian accent?
Howdy, y'all. We're going to barbecue some fish up here in Louisiana.
That's nothing to do with Canada. What's that?
Can you do a good Canadian accent?
I just think of Jordan Peterson. Hey, guys.
Oh, jeez.
Hey.
You just make Kermit the Frog more polite and more obfuscating. Like I feel like Jordan...
more changing the meaning of words.
Yeah,
hey,
and more faux philosophy.
Hey, well, it depends what you mean by curling.
My name is Kermit the Frog, and I hang a picture of Stalin in my bathroom so that every day when I go to the toilet, I can see Stalin and remind myself what the feminists are trying to change our world into.
Well, he would hate this mixed gender sport.
Oh my goodness, yeah, he would
totally
absolutely hate
anti
it.
that.
You see, women should never be throwing stones because that is the work of a lobster, and we should organise our society according to the lobsters.
Hey, we don't want equality of outcome.
A woman is not able to get past the hog line in a way that is competent from the sweepers and will be called well by the skip. A woman simply cannot be a skip. She will not make it out of the hack.
Statistically, women love staying at home. That's what they like. Why are we forcing
But
these
wait,
women
then
to
Jordan
go?
Peterson would think all the women players that we're about to watch are going to try and get things inside the house.
Well, that's That's a woman's job, isn't it?
No, talking about a hack. I think he's a bit of a kook. I watched one of his lectures on symbolism, and the lecture is him saying, like, look at this ancient Mayan deity, which is a snake. Now, you'll notice that this snake is coiled, and think about how we discovered, like Rosalind Franklin, DNA is coiled. So, whoa, like, I honestly believe that it is not a metaphor. The Mayans literally discovered DNA through symbolism. And it was just like, you kind of are a bit of a kook and a bit of a crank.
I like how serious he talks in his lectures.
He is really
so
serious.
Like, and it'll be about quite sort of, I guess they're important things, but it'll be about like relationship advice and things like that. And he'll be like, hey, if you want...
Clean your damn room.
If you want your partner to change, you can't just punish them. You've got to reward them.
Think about what the ancient Mayans did.
Look, if your husband cleans the house, but he forgot to clean the toilet, and then you come home from work and you have a go at him about not cleaning the toilet, well, he's never going to clean the damn house again. You've got to reward him for cleaning the house.
And then hang a picture of Stalin in that toilet.
And then curl your hair.
And get the stones inside the damn house.
My mum really got into him. Like, my mum went to see a lecture of his with my sister.
I do think of your younger sister as a disaffected white man.
Yeah, well, you know, how are you expected to change the country if you can't even change your own room? Okay, so shall we watch the video?
Yeah, we still don't know how they score. Is it 1 point for getting it in, or I think it's just, is it just one? What's the scoring?
Look, I've told you, they use
It's
a baseball
baseball
style
style.
scoreboard. Okay.
I have nothing to declare except my ignorance.
Okay, so this is Anna Hasselborg. She is the skip of Sweden.
That means captain. Oh, and now we're on Team Canada, and we've got Jennifer Jones.
So Jones of Canada and Hasselborg of Sweden.
Hey, there's a lady on their team called Jill Officer.
Wow, they got a captain, they got an officer, they got a skip.
Hey, can you do a good Swedish accent?
You are the dancing
I'm excited for Hasselborg.
Shuffleboard by Hasselborg. All right, so Sophia of the Swedish team, she is...
Oh, has she got a whole arm tattooed? That's awesome.
Wow. Okay, so she's skating along the ice with one slippery foot and one not slippery foot. She's let go of the stone. The other two members of the team are scrubbing it. They're scrubbing away.
Look,
I never know how much tactic there is, because it always just looks like, no, just scrub as hard as you can. They're still scrubbing, it's still moving down the pitch.
oh, so they can direct it, right? They can change the direction of it by scrubbing hard enough.
That's cool. All right, it's approaching the house.
All right, it's going past a lot of Ford adverts.
We've got the captain, Hasselborg, is standing in the house. Oh, okay, so it is just inside the outer ring of the house. So I would say this is almost a guard shot, but it's probably a draw shot.
Yeah.
All right, the Canadian team have thrown it. They're not scrubbing at all. They're just walking. They're just walking with it. Wow.
Because they want their house to be cleaned.
Clean your damn room. Why are they not scrubbing? Clean your damn room.
Jordan Peterson would be pissed right now if he saw this.
Not only is it people not cleaning, but it's women not cleaning. He would hate it. And then nary a picture of Stalin in sight. That must have been a really powerful throw from the Canadian team there, because the two Canadian scrubbers did not use their brooms a single time. They just walked along with it and watched it. The Swedish strategy seems to be much more do a very soft throw and then have your team madly scrub. Oh, yeah! Yeah. It smashed the Canadian one out of there. Oh, but it also went out itself.
Oh, so is the Canadian allowed to sweep even their one to make sure it keeps gliding over where they want it to land?
Apparently, it looked like the Canadian skip was sweeping in front of the Swedish one that knocked out the Canadian one, but then sailed out of the house itself.
Because I guess their house was already cleaned until that dirty stone got in it, so they were cleaning their room.
I wonder, when you do a takeout shot, it looks like it's really hard to do a takeout shot where you smash their one out of the house, but your one sails into the house. It seems whenever you do a takeout shot, you've smashed their one out of the house, but then your one just ends up sailing out of the house with the momentum as well. Or the Canadian team are throwing it really short again. They've done a guard shot in exact the same position.
I think they're mistaking that Ford sign as the house.
For the house. Oh, they keep getting it in the Ford advert and not in the house.
Okay, now we're on the Sweden team.
Well, this is a really fast shot, and they're not scrubbing it at all. Smashes it out.
Boom!
Oh,
they just
no! Oh no!
they just fucked themselves.
Oh no!
No one has any
Oh,
points.
that was painful.
No wonder it takes 73 minutes.
So the Swedish team did a really fast-moving shot, and they didn't sweep in front of it at all because it was really, really fast-moving. It got towards the house. It smashed out the Canadian one that was guarding the house. So the only other stone left in play was a Swedish one that was inside the house. But the Swedish team's throw, not only did it smash out the Canadian guard, but it also smashed out their own stone, which was inside the house, and then sailed out of the house itself. There's now nothing inside the house.
I think they're really taking liberties with the word stone. It's not a stone.
It's not at all a stone. Now the house is totally open. The Canadians are throwing it, and if they can do a good draw shot, i.e. aim to score, get it in the house.
But thus far, they've always been just getting
the
in the
forward
forward side. I think they're going to do the same right now.
Oh, they're throwing it really nice and central now.
But
They've stopped scrubbing. Clearly, they believe it's going to travel further.
No.
They're just walking along with it.
It's
Why
so
are they going
slow.
the forward side again? They got it so short of the house, and they were the last throw of the set of 4 for each team. They could have got a point, and they didn't. Get it together, Canada! They need a charismatic countryman who will... Wait, they got that!
No, they need somebody...
In a world where Jordan Peterson exists,
Yeah.
why are the Canadian team doing so badly?
They must have really achy backs. Like, sweeping and bending over in that position just always aches me.
Oh, I hate it.
Like hoovering. Clean your room! Right.
Never mind your back. Clean your damn room. The lobster doesn't complain about cleaning his room. The lobster never complains about their back. We should organize our society according to the lobsters.
I have a dream. Clean your room! Before you go changing the world, you gotta clean your room.
We will fight them on the hills. We will fight them on the beaches. We will fight them on the sandy shore.
Clean your damn room first.
I don't know where they are right now in terms of scoring. Because the baseball-style scoreboard keeps getting blocked by people.
Wow, there's still even at this late stage of the game that we've skipped ahead to, there is still a Canadian stone inside the Ford logo. You're not aiming for that.
Actually, no, the Canadians are yellow.
Oh,
I think you'll find the
right.
Swedish one is in the foot. Sorry. That's such a hard accent to do.
There is no bickering between the teams. There's no aggression between the teams. It does still seem to be the sport of good sportsmanship. The spirit of curling, esprit de curling. But the teams do look quite stressed, especially the Swedish team. Like, they are really taking it seriously. Like, they're talking with each other. They're really taking it seriously, really trying to work out what to do. All right, Swedish team are throwing the stone. There are 2 Canadian stones in the house and nothing else. So what is this Swedish team going to do?
The way they glide and release the stone is such a gentle, relaxing kind of let go. There's no real push.
It ended up being a draw shot. They were trying to do a takeout shot and knock out one of the Canadian stones from the inner rings, but instead they just added a Swedish stone to the inner rings, which is good.
You don't understand what they've done. I understand exactly what they've done.
What have they done?
They've put their red one in front of a yellow one. So now when the Canadians try and get rid of that red one, it's going to bounce their own yellow one out as well.
Yeah, it's going to ricochet it like in a croquet shot. You're right. So it's not possible to knock out this red one. That red one is there to stay now, this Swedish stone.
But they're all talking. They've all like stood around it. They're like, "What the fuck do we do? Hey, what should we do? We've already cleaned our rooms."
This is a really fun sport. This is chess on ice. This is great. I really like this.
Are they going to sacrifice a rook just to get that red one out?
Yeah, exactly. The Canadian team are going to have to sacrifice one of their yellows and knock it out in order to get rid of this red Swedish one.
They've gone for a hard throw. They are
So the
looking.
Swedes
They're
have done a
looking
really
to
hard throw.
smash.
Oh, that was such a good shot! Oh, they're really celebrating. That's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, that was such a good shot. So the state of play was, in the centre of the house, which is the target, there were 2 Canadian stones and 1 Swedish stone. The Swedes did a really fast, hard shot. It smashed. It went past the guard, like avoided the Canadian guard that was at the front. It hit the other Swedish stone, but not hard enough to knock it out of the house. But it smashed into the Canadian stone and knocks both of them out of the house. So then, now there are just 2 Swedish stones in the house. They're so happy. That was such a good shot.
Okay, so we skip forward to the 11th end. They seem
The
to both
end
be
of the
on
11th
6-6.
This is the final point. Canada's got the hammer icon. I don't know what that means.
State of play right now.
Sweden are throwing.
It's the Swedish turn. They are throwing the stone.
The Swedish one sailed right past the house and it missed everything.
Yeah, Canada won. They get 7. Sweden got 6.
The Canadian captain is so happy. But the spirit of curling before the Canadian team, this was why it was hard for us to tell who won, because the Canadian team didn't burst into celebrations when they won. First of all, both teams came forward and they all shook each other's hands, or the hands of the other team shook each other's hands really graciously. And only after they'd done that, the Canadian team got together, and then it was all like laughs and smiles and jumping around and being really thrilled and happy. This is a really camaraderie, sportsmanship sport. This is lovely.
For the unknowledgeable man built his house upon the sand.
Well, that was the 2018 Ford World Women's Curling Championships.
Hey. So, would you like to participate in a game?
Yeah, I really would. This looks really fun. It's chess on ice. It's really strategic. It looks like it takes so much skill, and it's a real team game because everyone's working together. You've got the skip who's standing at the house and they're giving you the directions about what kind of turn and weight and line to give the stone that you're throwing. And then you got one of you who's throwing it. You got your other teammates who are scrubbing in front of it. You're all giving each other instructions all the way through. It looks amazing.
I think the scrubbing doesn't do that much. I think the scrubbing's
No, it totally
overrated.
does, because you're speeding up or slowing it down, or you're changing the direction of it, changing the line.
But I don't think I think by the amount that you're actually changing the direction and speeding it up, I don't think it's that much.
You think it's all just pretending?
Yeah, exactly. I think you would enjoy bowls just as much as you would curling.
Yeah, based on this, I guess I would enjoy bowls then. So maybe it is a lot more accessible for me to just put on a flat cap and be a little bit racist and go down and play bowls with some old men in the local park. So do you think you would enjoy curling, bowls on ice?
Probably not as a sport.
Why not?
No, I mean, it's too gentle and I don't know, I just don't think it looks that fun.
Really? It doesn't look fun to you?
No, not really. Like, I like a strategic game, but if I want to play a strategic game, chess or card games are pretty good.
Right.
For a sport, I want to be super active and I don't know. Maybe I would enjoy bowls.
Yeah, well, you would be a really good aggressive player. You'd be the one teammate who's really aggressive and you're always doing the takeout shots. That could be your specialty.
I could be the fighter.
Or the one who just goes around punching other opponents. I don't think that is in the spirit of curling. L'esprit de curling.
No, when the other people's stones are coming forward, I use my brush or my stick and just smash the ice with all my power so that the stone just falls through.
Into the water below.
Thanks for listening to the show.
If you enjoyed it, please subscribe.
And if there's anything else you'd like us to watch
And become less unknowledgeable about,
send us a link on Twitter at The Unk Podcast.
that's at THEUNK podcast.
And if you're hungry for more Kit and Inti, I've got a musical rom-com called Love Pill the Musical.
And I have a feminist sketch show called The Second Sketch.
And you can find them wherever you listen to podcasts.
See you next time! You can say what you want about him. You can say that he doesn't play in the spirit of curling. But he cleans his damn room.